fans, and welcome to Holding Court with Coach Nelson. I'm JD Healy, and this is Coach Nelson.
Hey.
Good morning, and what a pleasure it is to get together and talk about volleyball with you.
Absolutely. It's easy to talk about something you love, so this is good.
It's also easy to talk about a great week, and you had one last week. Came home, it was the homestand, the Sheraton Airport Lobo Classic, and what a classic it was for the Lobos.
Well, it was a great way to start our home season. We had, I think, 3 very solid programs in, 2 in particular that we felt could really help us with our RPI and moving back forward after, kind of struggling through our injuries and stuff late last season. And so it was a great way to start. I think Riverside kind of warmed us up and got us ready for a really tough Idaho State match in the evening, and then come back and play a really, I think, athletic Georgia Tech team on Saturday. So.
Let's break it down a little bit here, Coach. As we look at the first game, UC Riverside, Chantel Riddle, always reliable. She comes out of that game with 16 kills. No big surprise there, but she is consistently going to lay the ball down on the other team. But Julia Warren with 6 kills, 17 digs for Julia Warren.
Yeah, first of all, with Chantel, I think this year, she's going to have a more consistent output each night because teams are still going to double team her, but we've got a lot of other weapons, and so I think she's going to have more openings. We're not using her quite as much in the back row because we've added her to our passing patterns, and so she's doing a little more defensively for us. Warren had a huge night in the backcourt. She passed the ball well. She, like you said, dug a ton of balls, and 3 games. That's a great number for 3 games, but. What we're asking of Julia is to be our kind of steady, pass the ball, dig the ball, put up a decent number every night, be a really steady kind of rock for us. And that's a lot to ask of a freshman, but her skill set is strong, and I think it's fair for us to ask that of her.
You come out of that one 3-0 sweep, 25-20, 17, and 11. It's a nice performance. Then that night you have to come back and play against Idaho State.
Yeah, and Idaho State's a good team. They're one of the best teams in the Big Sky. In fact, they led the Big Sky all year last year till the very end and let it get away. But they're a team that is going to make some waves, and I think they'll make a push for the NCAA tournament. I think they'll be battling with Portland State and Northern Arizona to win the Big Sky again this year. They're very physical. They're big. They handle the ball real well, and they presented some problems for us with their L1 and their M1. Both are big and low air, really solid players. And so we decided to really go after the L1, and we're able to break her down passing, and then that helped us with their hitting game too and made that a little easier for us to defend and block. And I thought we did a great job with our game plan. JJ Glavin, our assistant, does our scouting reports, and he really did a great job with preparing the girls for playing Idaho State, and I thought it was our best match of the year so far.
I thought it was a tremendous match. You and I talked about it before, and you said this is a real disciplined team, and they're not going to make a lot of mistakes, and maybe one of the keys for the Lobos in this is to make sure that defensively we're coming up big. In this game, Michaela Lovato has 20 digs.
Yeah, Michaela's, the returning designated libero from the conference, and she puts up great numbers for us every night. She has made all tournament at the first 2 tournaments and led both tournaments in digs, I believe. And, she's closing in on a career mark. She needs, I think, 38 digs this weekend to to get 1,000 digs for her career and then start moving up the charts. And I imagine she'll finish in the top 3 or 4 all time for digs after this season. And she just gets it done, but more importantly is the leadership she's providing in the backcourt. We're giving her a lot of freedom. We play a couple different defenses, but with her, we're kind of letting her go. Mm-hmm. I told her, if you're reading something, if you're seeing something, you're so experienced, you do it. And we give her a little more freedom in movement and releasing out of positions to make plays, whereas our other players, we really have them set in defensive positions. And but with her experience, we feel like it's good for us to just let her go. And she's doing great things. And the other thing is her leadership. She's directing the rest of the group and getting them going. And some of the saves she made this weekend, I think, really motivated the group, particularly late in Game 3 of the Georgia Tech match, which I know we're going to talk about, but she made a couple saves that I think probably kept us in the match or turned the match for us after we played kind of a sloppy second game. She's amazing and doing a great job for us.
Let's talk about Georgia Tech. This is a team out of the ACC. They come in, very athletic team, and we're thinking, okay, this is going to be a battle on down the line.
Yeah.
You split the first two sets, go out at halftime, you come back in for the third. Really important to see who's going to win that third set in a match. They have you down 24-22, and I think that's the point that you're actually talking about. That's where Michaela Lovato comes up with some big plays right there, but they battle their way back in and come back to win that thing 27-25.
Yeah, you keep reminding me that we were down. That's kind of painful. But
the good news is that, yes, you were, but yeah, they fought through the adversity.
That whole match, I felt like we came out in game one and did the things we wanted to do. I didn't feel we were quite in a rhythm, but we were doing the right things, and we won pretty easy. And then I felt like we just didn't show the maturity to continue, and I felt like we were a little overconfident. And then they turned the tables on us and beat us pretty badly in game two. And I think at the point in game three where we were down with a game point, our players kind of snapped back, and Michaela did make two big saves in a rally there, and we were able to get our confidence back. And in game three, we led most of the game. We let them come back right at the end. They had a tough server and made a little run at us, but I felt like in game four we were back in control and doing the things we needed to do. And but they play a different system. They play a higher, I call it a European, a lot of coaches do, style of game where they set the ball higher. And we're running a really fast game, and we got pulled into the slower game, and it hurt us, and we just didn't find a good rhythm. But it's nice to know that we can come from behind. We've done it a couple times already. And also that our young players are going to step up. And Julia Warren buried a ball at match point. And Cassie House came in late in that match and had a couple of huge kills for us at the end of game three and then again in game four. So we're asking freshmen to do some big things, and they're answering the call.
Well, they really are. Looking through all three sets, you've got Devin Sowers, Julia Warren, Cassie House, all stepping up and doing some pretty incredible things for you throughout the match. Yeah.
Devin started for us in the L1 spot this weekend, and she's learning, and I see her getting better every day and every week in practice. But she's going to make some mistakes out there, but she did some nice things throughout the weekend. House is just big and physical. She's got to start using her shots a little more, but she can hit over most of the blocks, and she's so powerful that she's successful at that. And then, like I said, I told you already, Warren is more of we want her to be just a steady rock for us and produce solid numbers every night. It doesn't have to be spectacular, but we need the consistency from her.
You talked about that leadership, and in the match against Georgia Tech, you felt that maybe they came out a little bit flatter than you wanted, but the leadership showed. Chantel Riddle comes out with 15 kills, we expect that, but 15 digs, sort of putting it up on her shoulders there.
Yeah, Chantel just keeps answering the call for us, and I thought she had a good shot at being Player of the Week this week, but there were a couple of really good performances, hers and then Deidre Foss from Colorado State. But she's putting up the numbers every week to be in that mix, and I think if she continues it, she's going to be a great candidate for Player of the Year in the Mountain West Conference, and I think she's just going to get better throughout the year. Like I said, I think she's learning a little bit this year. Last year there was so much pressure on her. She was really our only go-to player, and this year our middles are putting up great numbers. Lexi Ross and Elsa Krieg and Sky Galata are all putting up great numbers hitting, and Sky and Lexi have been blocking really well. And so it's allowing her more freedom to run some different plays, do some different things. Last year we just threw the ball up high and let her whack it, so to speak. But now we're doing a much better job with our system, and she just can do a lot more. And I think as she gets more and more comfortable with that, I think her numbers will keep going up.
Throughout that tournament, I keep noticing, and in the middle, steady as can be, Hannah Johnson, 30 of 36 sets in the first match, 39 of 42 sets in the second match and 41 of 49 sets in the third match. Best jouster in the league, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's stronger than her. She doesn't lose a joust, but she really does a great job of directing from up front.
Yeah, she does. She's really, we've really sped up the offense. The system is a difficult system to run, and she's doing a great job with it. She worked really hard last spring in the summer, training with the national team, the A2 team. I think got more confidence, came back with that, and I think she's so athletic and she's so fast. She's doing a great job. I also think she's the best blocking setter in the conference. Mm-hmm. She just has a real knack for finding the ball with her hands and great focus on that. But her leadership continues to grow, and we talk every week about things she can do to help her team and make them better. And but she has all the intangibles to be really, really successful. And I'm excited for her future and her career, but also what she's doing right now. I mean, she's had a great start to the season, and I think, just like I said with Chantel, I think for her it's just going to get better and better this year because she's running a really difficult, fast offense, and the more comfortable she gets with it, I think the better it'll be.
Pretty tremendous that you have 4 players in Chantel Riddle, Hannah Johnson, Lexi Ross, and Michaela Lovato, all nationally ranked players.
Well, yeah, in different statistical categories, but yeah, they're doing a great job, and I don't know that since I've been here we've had 4 people ranked nationally in different things at one time, but I think it speaks to the balance of our system and our offense, and just how much more we have to go at our opponents with this year than we've had in the past, and it's exciting. I mean, some nights we're playing 3 and 4 freshmen, and we're putting up great numbers. And Lexi's had, I think, the most surprising start. And I don't know that it's surprising because her skill set is really strong. Mm-hmm. She's a really good volleyball player, but she's hitting in the 400s and just being much more focused than she's been in the past. And I'm really excited for her. I hope her game really stays together like this, and she has an amazing senior year because she's really a good athlete. And as told by the fact that she's on the track team as well. But she's an amazing athlete with a strong arm, and I just hope that she continues to grow this season and put up these big numbers like I feel like she's been capable of for a long time.
Bottom line there is the Sheraton Airport Lobo Classic, a total success. It's your first homestand of the season, and it's a 3-0 start.
Yeah, well, we like winning our own tournaments. There's no doubt about that. The kids over the past several years have been very successful with that, and I'm very pleased overall with what they did last weekend, and excited for this weekend.
Speaking of this weekend, we've got the Lobo Invitational. Heck of a lineup for this one. You're going to start off on Friday at 7 o'clock right here at Johnson Center against the Towson Tigers out of Maryland. They're in the Colonial Athletic Association. They come in with a 3-6 record, but their losses have been to NC State, Virginia Tech, and Michigan State. They're playing some teams. Yeah,
they've played a great schedule so far. We've fortunately been able to see film on them already, and they kind of remind me of Georgia Tech in that they're athletic and physical, but a little more prone to errors, and so it's a game where we have to be steady, be focused, and run our system and not get pulled out of it, and I think we'll have good success. But one of the reasons we really look to put Towson in our tournament on the schedule this year is because they always are very successful on the East Coast, and they've had a lot of success the past few years, and we want to play teams that are winning a lot of games, and I think they're a team that's done that over the past few years.
No doubt about it. You always pick nice lineups here. Same here on Saturday. Come back in at 1 o'clock. Abilene Christian Wildcats. They're in the Lone Star Conference, but they're 3-2 overall with losses to the University of Texas Arlington and Texas Tech on the road. They come in with wins over Grambling State and Louisiana Tech, and then they won against Texas Tech at home. So they're performing.
Yeah, they are. I don't think they're in the Lone Star anymore, and I'm not trying to, but they've just made the jump up to Division I.
Oh, awesome.
And so they're transitioning, and but they had a huge win 2 nights ago over Texas Tech. At home, I guess they had a big crowd. It sounds like it was really exciting. Tech's a Big 12 team. That's a great win, especially for a program coming into Division I. we actually picked them up. But we had another team in the tournament, and they dropped out, and Abilene Christian was available, and we picked them up. And I think it's going to turn out to be a good match for us in that I think they're an up-and-comer. They're hungry. They're making the transition, but they've already won a few games, and they're really ready to roll. And so it's a match we're excited for. Excuse me, haven't gotten to see film on them yet. I'm going to see it in about an hour. But if they were able to take Tech out, then we've got to be able to be playing good ball and taking care of business.
Last up, on Saturday night, we come back at 7:30, and you're going to face off against Northern Arizona NAU Lumberjacks. And the Lumberjacks come in with a 5-1 overall record with wins over Campbell, San Jose State, and William and Mary at the Tribe Invitational. That was back in Williamsburg, Virginia. Also wins over San Diego State and Idaho. Their single loss comes to Cal State University at Northridge at the Fiesta Tournament. That's a pretty good record and some pretty good teams that they're playing against.
Yeah, no, Northern Arizona is a great team. I have seen them play. I think that they're really well coached. I think they're very disciplined. They run what they do very well. They run a fast offense like we do. Setter does a great job of moving the ball around. And their hitters are low error. They have a new coach this year, Ken Murphy, and I think he's just done a really good job of pulling them back together quick and getting them successful. Their one loss to Northridge was close, and Northridge is a really strong team this year. And they beat San Diego State, who was picked to win our conference. And again, a really close match, but they're doing the right things, and I think it's a great match for us in preparing us for conference. I think it's a great match to force us to play faster. I think it's good for our season RPI and our record, and I'm really looking forward to that match. NAU has a local player, so she's going to be fired up to come home and play here in front of family and friends, and she's a very good player, Sydney Kemper from La Cueva High School, and so they've got a lot of nice things going for them, and they'll be fired up to come over here and play, and I think it's going to be our biggest challenge of the season so far.
That's two tournaments that we're looking at that you set up, and you set it up against some pretty monster teams. You never pick any laydown teams.
Well, I don't think we picked any laydown teams. I don't think that we necessarily have the monster teams that we've had in the past, and having Stanford in and Nebraska and some of that. But and our next year's schedule is the most monster we've probably ever had. But in the past 3 or 4 years, we've played Hawaii a couple times. We've played SC a couple times. Nebraska, Stanford. So we've had some pretty good teams, some very strong, national contenders. 2 years in a row, we played Final Four teams, and so we've been able to do that. But I think this year's schedule allowed the freshmen to be challenged, but also have a little bit of a comfort zone to have success with the great experience we have around them in our returners. But I think that we chose teams that are going to win a lot of games as the year falls out, and that's what you want in terms of scheduling to raise you up, especially if you win the matches. When those teams go back out and win a lot of other matches, the way the NCAA works and the RPI, that works to your favor. So that's kind of what we were looking for in the early season this year. I will tell you, next year we're going to play a tournament at home the first weekend. We're going to Hawaii and picking up Hawaii and UCLA the second weekend, and then on the third weekend we're going to have the defending national champion Texas at home. So we've got again 3 top 10 teams in the first 3 weeks next year, and our freshmen better get their experience fast and be ready, because it's coming at us. But I think we're ready for that, and I think Chantel will be a senior, and Hannah will have another year of experience, and I think it's a great way for us to go with a really experienced team next year.
Nice crowd over the weekend. We had 2,300
Always.
people come into to Johnson Center. I'm expecting a bigger crowd this weekend.
You know, our crowds are always fantastic. We actually were a little surprised at the crowd on Saturday because there was so much competition on campus for parking. Excuse me. I think that we probably lost some of our fans because of that, but you know, they're amazing, and they show up for us, and a lot of them, because there was an event going on, which there isn't this weekend, I'm happy to say, but there was an event going on. A lot of them had to walk several blocks or walk across campus to park and get to the game, and they're really loyal, and they do that, and they're loud, and our players love it. They love playing here, and you know, there's quite a large group of regulars that, you know, we know where they're at, we know where they sit every night, and they're always there for us. And you know, there's some neat things this weekend. Saturday, both games it's a father-daughter day. So dad and daughter come, it's $3, and it's kind of a neat day, and the team's going to stay out in the afternoon after the afternoon game on Saturday and visit with them, and something different that we haven't done before. But we do get a lot of families and a lot of young kids at our games, and so we thought it might be nice to do something like that. So that's going to happen on Saturday as well.
Okay, so we've got some great stuff coming up this weekend. Friday, 7 o'clock, you've got the Lobos facing off against the Towson Tigers. Then come back in on Saturday, 1 o'clock, Lobos versus Abilene Christian. And at 7:30, it's Lobos versus Northern Arizona University. You can see all those games right here at Johnson Center. They'll also be streaming live on Lobo TV.